We're staged for another run of nitro-fueled NHRA talk. It's The Straight Line, presented by O'Reilly Auto Parts, with Marty Huff and 10-time NHRA winner Doug Herbert. Brought to you by Hercules Tires. Now, here are your hosts, Doug and Marty.
This is The Straight Line on drag racing. Thanks for stopping by our half hour of horsepower. Appreciate you being with us. Tony Schumacher racked up career win 83 at the Gator Nationals, and this week he heads to Las Vegas where he's won 8 times. Today we'll talk to the Sarge about his odds going back to back. We're all in on this week's edition of The Straight Line. Wherever you may be, coast to coast, around the world, this is The Straight Line on drag racing on MRN.com. Along with 4-time IHRA Top Fuel champion and 10-time NHRA National Event winner Doug Herbert, I am Marty Huff. Good to see you back in the studio. You have been all over the place, my friend.
Yeah, we've been running around, did a little bit of Seattle and a little bit of Las Vegas and, I don't even know
Kansas,
where.
I believe,
Kansas,
was
yeah,
last week.
Weekend we're in Kansas and Missouri. So, yeah, doing a lot of running around, but we're training a lot of teenagers to be a little bit safer on the road. So, got a lot of good stuff going on.
And this weekend, headed to my old stomping grounds, a little bit south of Portland, in the Salem area, at the Kaiser Salem Volcanoes baseball stadium.
Volcanoes Stadium.
Yeah,
Volcanoes.
So I love that.
Yeah, we're looking forward to that. We're going to that American car museum right there.
Yes.
They're in Portland. Pretty neat deal,
Yep.
I guess. So we're going to go by there and check
Very
that out.
cool.
They're one of our helpers this week for our classes out in Oregon, and then the Power Kia dealer up there in Salem, Oregon as well. So yeah, we've got some stuff going on over there. That's good.
Yep.
And then before too long, we've got our 4 wides coming up here in only about a month. Thursday of the 4 wides, we're going to have our golf tournament again this year. So we'll look forward to having some fun. And I know a lot of the drag races will be out there at the golf tournament. And you know what? That'd be a great time to come out and meet them and play some golf or come volunteer. Pick up some golf balls, whatever, and so I know a lot of our listeners will. Seems like they usually hang around and come over for the drag races here in Charlotte.
Yep. And so for more information, putonthebrakes.org to sign up for the golf tournament coming up here, and like you said, just about a month.
And then Saturday morning at the 4 wide race, we're doing our pancake breakfast over at the Schumacher Racing Pit area too. So we'll be pretty busy this time. It's good.
Headed to Vegas. We talk about this just about every time we go to Las Vegas. It's one of the more unique tracks on the circuit because the conditions there are unlike anywhere you probably find on the circuit.
The elevation is close to Bristol, but the humidity is a lot less. The water grains in the air are a lot less because it's dry. So it takes a little bit of a different tune-up. So you'll see over the years the guys that do well at Vegas typically keep doing well in Vegas. So that's going to be one of those things. I think John Force's bunch is going to be tough. I mean, looking at last weekend, Height had low ET and top speed, and then John Force won the race. They obviously have it down pretty well at Phoenix or at Vegas as well. So I would think Team Force is going to be a tough one to look out in Funny Car. And Top Fuel, who knows? All the Schumacher guys seem to have their act pretty well together there.
Yeah, and Tony Schumacher with 8 wins at Las Vegas. He had, I believe it was 6 and 7 years. I mean, he was on a roll. Yeah. And I think you're right on that, Doug, because they had the right combination. No matter who was wrenching on that car, it was a combination of Alan Johnson, Mike Green, and probably a couple others in there. No matter what. When you come to a place where you're really successful and you've knocked them dead, I mean, is there just a sense of confidence when you roll into the track on a weekend?
Well, sure there is. That's about like I was lucky enough or good enough or whatever at Bristol. I think I won 6 or 7 times at Bristol Top Fuel, and so you go in the gate. It does give you a little extra bit of confidence. The bottom line is, though, Vegas, you got to be careful because there's a lot of things going on in Vegas. They got their fan nights and all these other stuff, and then there's gambling and there's drinking and all this other stuff. So you got to be careful in Vegas. You got to stay focused because it's easy to get off the track. You go to the comedy show or the big thing over here, and I mean, You know, it's important to get up in the morning and you're ready to race because that's the reason why you're there.
Since you were the boss, did you have particular rules when you went to Las Vegas for the crew guys, or did they kind of
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to follow, but yeah, I mean, I had guys, you come out in the morning and they're like dragging along. What's the matter? Oh, I was down in the casino last night. Yeah, it didn't go that well. So yeah, you know, I mean, it's a job, right?
Yeah,
and,
right.
And you get into a place like Las Vegas where there's a lot of other things going on, and you got to be careful that you don't lose focus about what the most important thing to do is there.
Show up and perform.
And you'll see that on Sunday morning. Look at the reaction times. You'll see slow reaction times,
right.
and you go, okay, well, those are the guys that were in the casino last night. You know, casinos don't ever close. Like they're going.
No, they don't. Yeah. Tony Schumacher. 83 wins. I mean, that's just a ridiculous number. And we'll talk to Tony here in a couple of minutes. The days of him winning 10 races, you know, in a season, you know, that sort of domination are over. But he goes with, you know, on these spells where maybe he doesn't win for, you know, a couple of months or something like that. And you think, you know, it's kind of like force where, you know, maybe he's done, maybe he's washed up, and then here he goes. And he starts winning again, and you go, oh,
well,
yeah,
that's the
Tony
thing.
Schumacher.
I mean, he's been now with Mike Green for quite a while. And Mike worked for me back in the 90s. Mike's he's a top-notch, capable crew chief, and he's one of their leaders over there at Don Schumacher Racing. So that says something about it, but also the fact that Tony Schumacher had low ET and top speed of the event in Gainesville. Yeah. Like, he didn't back into it. No. You know, #1 qualifier, low ET, top speed. That car is tough, and Tony always does a good job driving the car. The competition out there driving is pretty tough, though. I mean, Antron Brown is no slouch. You know, those guys come up there, and you're racing them, and you've got to be like you have to be on 110%, because if you don't, it doesn't matter how good your car does. If they whip you by 200 or 300 off the starting line, you're going to get beat. You're going to be going home. So, great job though by Tony and the Army team. Looking forward to talking to him a little bit about that.
Yeah, and now a teammate is Leah Pritchett. She's won 2 of the first 3 races of the season. Yeah. I mean, that's just another car, another driver out there that you've got to be aware of, because she's got the same equipment that Tony is, and obviously a bit of a different setup or whatever, but still, he knows what kind of attention to detail and the equipment that's going into these things. And so, I mean, that's just another car out there that he's got to get out of the way.
Right. Well, all the Schumacher cars basically have the same tune-up and the same parts. Yeah. The crew chief does their own little things a little bit differently, but that's why they all run pretty darn close to each other as well. And they all run pretty good. So, I think everybody in the top fuel field's got their work cut out for them with the Don Schumacher guys. That's just fact. I don't think I'm telling anything out of school there.
Yeah, no. And when it comes to Las Vegas, that's the home of Ken Black. Ken Black, he started the pro stock teams that are now that they are dominating. Greg Anderson with 7 wins there. If that's one of those situations where you want to pull in and you're expecting Greg Anderson and Jason Lineburn to probably do well.
Right, and they have been doing well, right? Last year they pretty much had an advantage the whole year. Yeah. Won the championship. I mean, I don't know about easily, but they won the championship pretty squarely. Yeah. Last weekend, Gray got the pro stock win, but Jason Lyon and Greg Anderson still had low ET and top speed of the race. So, they've got a small advantage. Advantage might be getting picked away a little bit, but they're tough.
Just about the time you think that the pro stock field has caught up to them, then all of a sudden, they pull away by about a car length or so. So you just wonder how much they've got, stashed away, just for safekeeping.
I think at first they had a little stashed away. I don't think they're probably stashing anything away now.
But the field is getting closer. The Elite Motorsports teams getting there. Shane Gray won at Gainesville last week. So they are getting closer, but KB still got a bit of an advantage, and they're heading to their home track, or at least the home track of Ken Black, where he lives.
They always do well there.
They always do well there. When we return, we will talk to the 8-time champion, 8-time winner at Las Vegas. Tony Schumacher joins us next.
O'Reilly.
If your vehicle isn't stopping like it used to, visit O'Reilly Auto Parts for the Spring Brake Deals event. Take advantage of the O'Reilly Auto Parts Do It Right rebate and get a $20 O'Reilly gift card by mail when you buy a set of Brake Best Select pads and a pair of rotors. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day. Limits apply. See store for details.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I'm Steve Letarte, STP auto expert and former crew chief. I know what it takes to keep engines performing at their best. STP's latest breakthrough additive, STP Ultra 5-in-1 plus Fuel System Cleaner plus Fuel Stabilizer, delivers 3 times the amount of cleaning agents versus premium gasoline and helps keep fuel fresh during storage. For over 60 years, STP has been on the cutting edge developing products to help engines run better, longer.
One bottle contains 3 times by weight the amount of cleaning agents compared to 20 gallons of the leading premium gasoline.
In order to maximize a vehicle's performance and efficiency, the proper adjustments need to be made based on the road ahead. That's true for both race car drivers on the track and for truck drivers hauling freight on the highway. But if your truck's equipped with the Detroit DT12 automated manual transmission with intelligent powertrain management, adjustments are made automatically based on GPS terrain mapping, maximizing performance and efficiency. Don't just want better business solutions, demand them. Learn more at demanddetroit.com.
Welcome back to The Straight Line, brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts. Here's more with Marty Huff and Doug Herbert.
Appreciate you joining us on MRN.com. Joining us on the telephone line right now is the driver of the U.S. Army, top fuel dragster for Don Schumacher Racing. Tony Schumacher joins us. Sarge, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it. Congratulations on the win of the Gator Nationals.
Well, it was a great race, and I do miss our calls. It means we won something.
I know, right? We got you on speed dial. Hey.
Good. I like that. There's been years where I've gotten more calls though, but that's all right, man. Our cars, I think we're back to some old form. We got a great race car. Everything's going well, and the whole race team's just doing outstanding. So looking forward to some more, and we get to start this weekend in Vegas.
Yeah, number 1 qualifier, low ET and top speed of the race down in Gainesville. Mike Green and the team had that car doing what we're used to seeing it do.
I don't remember when you raced there how bad the bumps. There's the left lane there's a little disastrous. You remember Marshall Topping crashing there, Keith Stark,
sure.
Hoffman, a super comp, all 1 year. It's like that track does some stuff. It's kind of like the Memphis.
Yep.
There's a bump, it gets cars undulating. We watched Coughlin struggle. We watched a lot of guys struggle. Jared Todd, and you go, why? What is it about this track? Well, there's it gets it undulating. It gets that chassis moving around, and if you're a half a second behind the car, it makes it hard. So those are the tracks where experience does win races for you. And, I appreciate the time I've had in that car, and it helps a lot. And then you put it together with a good crew chief, and you can win some races.
And Tony, how about the U.S. Army? Your guys are like 17 years together or something. So that's a pretty long run. And, all the different things. You and I have done that youth education program together quite a few times. And, there's so much more, I think, that most, for sure most fans, but even a lot of the other teams realize how much work goes into having a relationship like that for so long.
No question about it. And if teams were, that are out looking for partners and sponsors, they need to take a real good hard look at that Army whole program. It's not the advertising. It's not the name on the side of the car and the dollars on TV. Those are bonuses, but it's about the one-on-one time we get with the right people. And for these kids out trying to put packages together and sponsorship proposals, each one's different. What we look for, what Madco looks for, what Papa John's, they want to sell pizza. Everyone's different, and our program has been successful because NHRA as a whole gives the right venue for recruiting. Man, we get the right kids out there. We get families out there. We can talk to the parents. We can talk to the kids. We can give them a little insight. Doesn't mean they're all, it's funny that people still think, last resort, if I can't do this, I'll join the Army. And that's so wrong. Less than 3 out of 10 kids can even get in the Army. You can't even pass the test or have a record, a criminal record. They're out of shape. You've watched, for years, us put this together. It's the right people. In NHRA, man, we put the right people in the stands for that particular sponsorship and partner.
You mentioned Papa John's, and last year we were asking you about Leah Pritchett and how cool it was that she was scrapping her way through the season and making things work. And you said, heck no, that's just one more car I've got to get through. Well, now she's won 2 of the first 3 races, and definitely a car you got to get by, and a little smack talk along the line as well.
Oh, we have fun. Our team as a whole, I started driving in 96 with the Peaks. 99, we formed our own team, and it was one car. From there, we built another car, and we've built a lot of our own rivals, our own quality teams, great crew chiefs, great drivers. So, yeah, when we bring someone in, it is more difficult to beat our own team than anyone out there. They got our parts. When they're lost, our crew chiefs go over and fix their stuff, and it's the way it is, And at the end of your career, when you're looking at all your trophies, you can be very, very proud that you had to get through people you trained. They're instructed to watch your driving. You've taught them. You've helped them. And you made a good adversary. And then the trophies mean something, man. If it was just easy, what's the point of doing it, man? I look forward to those difficult races. Beating Antron in the finals, he's generally had our number. He's an excellent driver, excellent crew chiefs, great team, world champ. And because of all that stuff, when you beat him, and you did something. It's just a great moment in time.
83 times in the winner's circle. Are you getting tired of it?
Nope. You know what I'm tired of? The hundreds of times I wasn't.
Yeah.
Like my Facebook post, man. The hundreds of times you were not in the winner's circle make those 83 spectacular, each and every one of them. Because,
that's right.
Man, they're hard. They're hard to get there, man. Every time.
We're here in a couple of weeks, or actually next month, we will be in Atlanta, a place that you have never won, and everybody's going to ask you why you've never won at Atlanta, why you never won at Atlanta. But there's these tracks where you've absolutely dominated. Las Vegas is one of those. What is the deal about Las Vegas, and why have you won there 8 times?
I hide. I go in my room and I just hibernate. That place is dangerous, man. There's so much to do. And just to walk through the hotel lobby, you're hearing that money, and you're hearing excitement and people. And, it's the ultimate in winning and losing all at the same time. And it's just, I go and I lock myself away, man. It's so hard, especially the second race. It's Halloween. I don't know if anyone's been to Vegas on Halloween, but and there's some stuff that even adults don't belong seeing, it's crazy there. And then you got to focus, get back in a race car and go 300 miles an hour. So I just do my job, man. I'm there for a reason. I'm there to win. And how many races have I won there? Just like I couldn't remember.
8.
Oh, well, no way. Hey, that's pretty good.
Yeah, I believe the number was 6 and 7 years there for a while.
That was good. Well, let's try to get back to that, because that was I was talking to someone yesterday about you can gamble there, that's one of those places you can place bets on drivers. And I had one year early on where I went out and got beat, and I was favored by far. We were in the middle of Ellen Johnson era. I was favored. People bet on it, and then we go out, we get beat first round, and everyone throws their cards down. Well, the guy who raced, I don't remember who it was, his fuel was illegal. So all these people go run down and have to find their tickets. and then I red lit second round against Bernstein, I think, and I went, "Oh, sorry about that hard work, guys."
Oh man.
Yeah, well,
You win some, you lose some, right?
Absolutely.
More coming up with Tony Schumacher after this.
Citywide to countryside, whatever you drive, wherever you go. Hercules Tires has the value, selection, and industry-leading warranty to get you there, no matter where the road takes you. To learn more, visit HerculesTire.com. Hercules Tires, ride on our strength.
O'Reilly.
If your vehicle isn't stopping like it used to, visit O'Reilly Auto Parts for the Spring Brake Deals event. Take advantage of the O'Reilly Auto Parts Do It Right rebate and get a $20 O'Reilly gift card by mail when you buy a set of Brake Best Select pads and a pair of rotors. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day. Limits apply. See store for details.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Race fans, you know there's nothing like the power, excitement, and sounds of NASCAR. Ever wonder what it would be like to strap yourself in the seat of an authentic NASCAR race car? You can do it at the Richard Petty Driving Experience. Ride along or drive yourself at one of 15 tracks nationwide. Call 1-800-237-3889 or visit online at drivepetty.com. Richard Petty Driving Experience. It's authentic NASCAR entertainment. Call 1-800-237-3889 or visit drivepetty.com to reserve your experience.
It's The Straight Line, brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts. Now, once again, here's Doug and Marty.
Appreciate you joining us here on The Straight Line. Still on the phone with us is Tony Schumacher. Sarge, you were talking about as soon as Vegas is done, maybe doing a little road trip down in the desert.
Yeah, I got a couple friends that live in Phoenix, and they're Harley guys, so they're coming down to the Vegas race. I'm going to hop in their car, drive down to Phoenix, and do bike week for a few days. I just clear my head in the middle, just racing's intense, man. It's like every now and then you got to just take a little breather and sit back and enjoy the hard work and the effort you put in the weekend before. So then we got 2 weekends off. I need to, my wife forever said, you need to do a bike week. You got this bike sitting there, all you do is wash it and wax it. It's safer that way,
Well,
that's true. So you're going to do a little motorcycle ride, and your dad, every time I talk to him, he's out doing fishing tournaments. So you haven't got into the fishing tournaments with your dad?
I get sick.
Oh,
dude,
no.
Oh, no.
I get on that boat, and I lay on my back with the Dramamine, and I just fall asleep. And he's got an incredible boat, incredible crew. The guys are fantastic. And he is just an avid fisherman, and he's so good at it. He wins tournaments. I mean, it's what he's loved. Years ago, in his house in Florida, I said, why don't you fish? I bought him a rod and a reel for Christmas, a real nice ocean rod. He goes, there's nothing out there. He started catching shark right off to the beach, and I said, and that's why I don't swim there. Because he's like, I'd swim down there. I'm like, go ahead. And he's like, I don't know if I'm going to do it now. Like, do you think those sharks appeared yesterday? It's been a long time.
They've been out there scoping you out for a while.
Yeah. You want to know why Jesus walked on water? I can tell you right now. That's not one of them bad boys.
Yeah. And that's kind of a way for him to get his competitive juices flowing, because there's a lot on the line in those fishing tournaments. I mean, you're not just out there for the heck of it. There's a lot on the line in some of those things.
And trust me, he's just as competitive, because I've been on a couple fishing tournaments with your dad, and he's just as competitive there as he is at the racetrack.
Yep.
Like, he hates to lose.
Yeah, I bet.
He's amazing. And my son Michael, Anthony's more like me. We get on the boat, we take Dramamine, we ride the waves out, we get sick. Mikey, my 13-year-old, he pulled in 6 sharks one day.
Oof.
And they just kept throwing something over, a little chud over the side, and then pull a shark. As quick as he could reel the thing in, they'd throw it back in. Dad, throw it. And my grandpa and him really bonded. It was pretty cool.
Nice.
It was just a special, because Mike, he's high maintenance, man. Like, he's on the go constantly. He wears me out. I'm not someone that wears out pretty easy, but he doesn't.
Speaking of Anthony, so you guys came to our breaks thing down there at Austin at the Coda track a few months ago. How's Anthony doing with his driving?
He's doing great, man. He is fantastic. Same with Dorset. I brought some of our friends down there, and his daughter's driving excellent. The records are good, clean. It doesn't matter about all this. It's the dad. When the dad goes, you know what? I get in a car and I'm comfortable with her. She really is doing what was taught to her. Great. Yeah, we love coming there. I'm gonna have to do that once a year. Because that's not, you do forget it. You forget it as an adult. You forget it as a kid.
Yep.
And it's just a refresher course is always a good thing, man. Kids out there, get to that course. Saves lives.
Yep. We'll come back down to Austin to see you again here, and hopefully next year then.
Yeah. Fantastic.
Your 13-year-old, we'll get him when he's about ready to come. We'll have to.
He's ready now.
Oh, he's ready.
I want to go. Yeah, he wants to drive constantly. He's like a mini me, man. He's good.
That's cool. Well, Tony, thanks for joining us. Congratulations on your win last week at Gainesville, and looking forward to seeing what you can make happen down at Las Vegas. You seem like you've got a pretty good track record there, so maybe we'll talk to you again here in another week or two.
That sounds great. We'll see you up in Charlotte here coming up too.
Right on.
Absolutely. Driver of the U.S. Army, top fuel dragster for Don Schumacher Racing. That's Tony Schumacher joining us here on the Straight Line. And when we return, we will wrap up another great edition of the show.
Oh, oh, O'Reilly.
If your vehicle isn't stopping like it used to, visit O'Reilly Auto Parts for the Spring Brake Deals event. Take advantage of the O'Reilly Auto Parts Do It Right rebate and get a $20 O'Reilly gift card by mail when you buy a set of Brake Best Select pads and a pair of rotors. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better prices every day. Limits apply. See store for details.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I'm Steve Letarte, STP auto expert and former crew chief. I know what it takes to keep engines performing at their best. STP's latest breakthrough additive, STP Ultra 5-in-1 plus Fuel System Cleaner plus Fuel Stabilizer, delivers 3 times the amount of cleaning agents versus premium gasoline and helps keep fuel fresh during storage. For over 60 years, STP has been on the cutting edge developing products to help engines run better, longer.
One bottle contains 3 times by weight the amount of cleaning agents compared to 20 gallons of the leading premium gasoline.
Motor Racing Network has a way for you to reach out and express your thoughts and opinions on NASCAR. It's the MRN Fan Forum Hotline.
Wondering what's the first thing you tend to think of? I was curious
about those new rules from what I heard.
Call in 844-4-ASK-MRN. Got a question or comment for a driver or MRN personality? 844-4-ASK-MRN.
You guys keep it on. Let's see you guys next
It's
weekend.
the Fan Forum Hotline, your connection to the sport of NASCAR.
You're listening to The Straight Line, brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts. Now, back to Marty Huff and Doug Herbert.
Thanks for joining us on The Straight Line. It is STP Race Week all over the place here on Motor Racing Network. And for over 60 years, STP has been on the cutting edge of developing products to help engines perform at their best. Their latest breakthrough additive, STP Ultra 5-in-1 plus Fuel System Cleaner plus Fuel Stabilizer, deep cleans your entire fuel system and helps keep stored fuel fresh. John Force made himself an internet, it went viral at Gainesville after he started doing the whole singing in the rain. Right. Deal in the bright sunshine of Gainesville, Florida after he won. We asked him last week why he was doing it. He said, heck, I have no idea. I just started singing. I was so happy. So the stat masters over at John Force Racing figured out that I believe the last 7 times that he is, or at least 7 times that when he has won Gainesville, he's gone on to win the championship. So then they went ahead and did a little more stuff, and here is that cut courtesy of John Force Racing.
I don't always win Gainesville, but when I do, I usually win the championship. Stay fast, my friend.
Stay fast, my friends. John Force is really the most interesting man in the world. I mean, Felix Abatis, he's done some commercials like that, but you got to feel statistically when it says the last 7 times that he's won Gainesville, he's gone on to win the championship. You kind of like his odds.
Well, yeah. Well, I'll tell you what. He's the rivalry between Don Schumacher and John Force is strong, and you know what? You got to look at it and see. I mean, how bad of a deal did Force make? Well, with height, low ET, and top speed, Force winning the race and running really well. You got to think Force is feeling pretty good about his decision right now. So if it cost him an extra $100,000 or something like that, that's what I heard. He's going to make that up if he keeps winning races. The problem is, like Don's side of it is it bad for the sport paying these guys so much money? Yeah, probably.
Yeah. And one of the caveats of the deal that we learned is that Austin Prock, Jimmy Prock's son, is now being trained to be maybe one of the next drivers at John Force Racing, a pavement circle track sprint car champion, is now going to go on the other side of the fence and work his way up and become a development driver for John Force Racing. So that's one of the
well, that's a pretty good opportunity to be a driver over there at John Force
Racing.
Got that right.
So
not bad that, and Austin Prock is a good little driver.
Yeah.
Doing the sprint car stuff. So obviously Doug Coletta did pretty good going from sprint cars to a top-wheel dragster. I'm sure Austin will do well at the same time.
So next week, we'll have a review of Las Vegas here on The Straight Line. So for everybody involved, thanks for being here. We will talk to you next week here on The Straight Line.
You've been listening to The Straight Line, presented by O'Reilly Auto Parts. The Straight Line is the show for drag racing fans and was brought to you by Hercules Tires. Tune in again next Thursday on MRN.com and the MRN app. The Straight Line is also available on demand in MRN.com's Media Center, on our Facebook page, on YouTube, and in iTunes or the Google Play Store. The Straight Line is a production of the Motor Racing Network.